Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be us trying on some new releases and then some not so new releases. So this is a combination of, I took a trip to Ulta and I picked up some stuff that I've been wanting and then some indie brands. So what's on today's agenda is I did place an order with Ulta and I got the new Garden Lights and Coastal Lights palettes. We'll swatch these out. We'll put one look on each eye. My trip to Ulta, I picked up the MAC Studio Fix Everywhere All Over Face Pen. I feel like we could do this as foundation. I've had this for a little bit. It is no longer a new release, but I haven't tried it. It's the Iconic London Radiant Concealer and Brightening Duo. And then I picked up Juvia's Place when I went to the store at Ulta. I've had these and haven't tried these on either. These are the GVS Cosmetics Pillow Blushes. So these are two shades of the cream blush. I figure we'll try both of those on. And then these are the new lip collection from the Kaleidos. I want to say Avila collection. So I picked up the whole lip set and then I also picked up two of the blush shades, but I didn't want to try on the blush shades. I'm not sure that those are actually new. I feel like they've had those before, but these lip sets, I feel like these are all new shades, plus they're in like brand new packaging. So we'll do lip swatches. We'll try those all on. That's what we're going to do today. Let's get into it. Let's start with the eyeshadow palettes. I feel like there's going to be some fallout and we're probably going to do a colorful look on each eye. So I figured we'd start there. I feel like these do retail for $20 a piece, whereas I feel like these older ones, $17.99 a piece. So these have gone up a little bit in price. I want to swatch each of these out. I want to mention though, I have had the other two in my collection and these are near and dear to me. These are probably the best shimmer formula from the drugstore that I have ever tried. They're even more intense than some of my more expensive shimmers. They're so good. I do feel like there's maybe some repeat shades between the original. So I put them up here just to kind of do some comparisons. Here is the Coastal Lights one, and then here is the Garden Lights one. And I kind of feel like we've seen like maybe this shade or this one in here, in the Jungle Lights one. I mean, there are definitely some similarities. Garden Lights one looks like it's very consistent kind of formula throughout, but this one in Coastal Lights, do you see the top three? They're very not the same. Like they're not textured. They look, even some of the ones on the bottom, they look less metallic. But we won't know until we start swatching. So let's get into that. Let's go into the Garden Lights one. I'm gonna take it from the top left and I go like this down, across and down. One of these shades did come broken on me. So I'm not gonna call out the shade names because there's only 6, but they are on the back. So I'm not like expecting these to be a bad quality at all. Just different shades. I mean, look at this formula. It's so smooth and so light reflecting. Look how much picks up on my finger. It's insanity. Whoa, that one is nice and fantastic. There's so much on my hands when doing these swatches. It is not super easy to get off. Well, now my clothes are gonna get it because I can't even get it off with the wet wipe. There's that purple shade. Gosh, look at these. They're chunky, but they're still extremely, extremely light reflecting. And then once you rub them in, they're quite smooth. This one looks like an absolutely delightful shade that we need to play with today. It's like a burgundy purple. It's so pretty. I feel like we'll end up using, holy smokes. That one is a lot less chunky than the other ones. Super pigmented. We'll definitely use that one in the outer corner. Honestly, she's like dialed into this formula. This is like, she needs to trademark this so literally no one else can use this, because it is one of the best shimmer formulas ever, in my opinion, not just in drugstore. And then she's got this coppery tone here, which I don't think is in either of the other ones. See, it's quite like coppery, which I feel like a lot of people will really like this shade. I probably won't grab for it that often, but it's still like really gorgeous. So there is the Garden Lights one. So when looking over this, I had decided that I was gonna reach in for the purpley shades. So I'm gonna use these two and build it off of a matte look, but I'll put this in the outer corner and then this all over the lid. I feel like those are the prettiest from the Garden Lights one. And then the Coastal Lights, I think we'll grab the green and do more of a green looks, because I would love to see how this performs on the eye and whether it gives a lot of light reflection, because I feel like this is kind of the unique shade in here, is this very, very like, I don't know, it's almost like a seafoam green. Oh my gosh, it is literally called seafoam. So I don't know, I just kind of feel like that's a pretty unique shade in this palette. I'm gonna go wash this one off in Garden Lights because there's no way this is coming off with just my little wet wipe up here. Okay. I mentioned that these look like a different formula. Same with this one. Like they just look softer. They don't have the same kind of texture. This one probably is the most textured looking and similar to the other palettes. So I'm interested to see how this one swatches. This shade right here came broken. The one in, I want to say Tide. I do feel like these are an entirely different formula. These are not the same. You guys, these are so much more smooth, a lot less chunky, and I don't know, quite frankly, that felt a little bit boring. I hate to say it, but some of you guys might enjoy this because it's such a softer formula, and you guys might not like the chunkiness about these, and that may turn you off to using them all the time, because look how much more smooth these are. So this might be appealing for a lot of people. I just thought the original formula was great. I feel like I can get this in other palettes. It's not that it's not chunky, it's just not the same. Here's like a silver shade. I don't know, you guys. I feel like I have these in other palettes. This is like not what was missing from her. And then back to a formula that is in all the other palettes in that tea shade. Yeah, see? Why even bother creating these? This doesn't appeal to me. Not what I like about these shimmers, personally. We're back to another one of those soft formulas. Still a lot picks up, so it is very chunky. It's more light reflecting. You definitely notice it more. And this one in the corner is like almost a hybrid between the old formula and the new formula. Maybe even that purpley one is kind of a hybrid. Yeah, I feel like both of these are kind of like hybrid shades, and these ones were quite obviously, even noticeably to the eye, just on the lighter side. So here is it swatched out. See how beautiful these shades are right here? And then these ones are like, meh, okay, okay. We are definitely building an eye look off of this seafoam green shade, and we'll probably only pull that one in from the Coastal Lights, just because I really want to play with this shade. I feel like I told you guys it's the most unique, and these ones, really boring. Not at all what I feel like I needed from her. Okay, just to give myself a total full range of colors, I'm going to go into my Culture 2 palette from GVS Place. And when we go into the Garden Lights palette, I'm going to start with this purple shade here, and then I'm going to deepen it up in the crease with this one right here. And as I mentioned to you guys, I'm going to take this all over the lid. No, I'm going to take this one all over the lid, and then I'm taking this one in the outer corner. So I'm going to do that on the right eye, and I will speed through the process for you guys. I mean, it's not an everyday look, but I feel like if you incorporate these in some of the lighter shades of a matte shadow or something, they're totally everyday wearable shade. It is super duper chunky. Again, like if you wanted something lighter, I guess she's given it to us in this Coastal Lights palette. But we will finish the look up at the very end once we're done with the foundation, and the concealer will finish up the eyes. So for this one, I told you guys I want to go into this seafoam color. So I'm going to reach back into this palette, and I'm going to like do something pretty daring. I'm going to go for this yellow, I feel like, and I feel like this is a pressed pigment. So, and then I'm going to take this shade to like deepen the crease up. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. The crease in the outer corner, or maybe like I'll take this deeper shade in the outer corner. I'm gonna let myself see where this look takes me, but I'm gonna speed through this process again. why, but I really like the way that looks. You know, I think I don't give greens enough credit. The Seafoam one, definitely when I got to the eye, is a lot lighter. It's not as chunky as this one over here. So I definitely feel like in these two, if you had a preference of a lighter shimmer and a deeper shimmer, now she's given us the option. Whereas with the other ones, I feel like they were all super chunky. Now that the base of the eyes are pretty much done, let's move on into the other stuff. I want to use this as a foundation because it's the Studio Fix Everywhere All Over Face Pen. I feel like you can use it all over. So it's long wear, medium to full buildable coverage, flexible, natural matte finish with caffeine, hyaluronic acid, vitamin E, water and transfer proof, non-creasing and non-caking. So MAC also came out with their Studio Fix Radiant Foundation, and I was in stores looking at it because I've been loving the heck out of MAC releases lately, and I thought about getting it, but it's such a natural, looks kind of a dewy finish, and I'm so trying to stay away from those lately just because they're really not working for me because my skin is so oily. So I picked this up thinking that I could use it everywhere as kind of like a foundation. So that's what I want to do. This is in the shade NC15. I've never tried a MAC complexion product, so I have no idea if NC15 is going to work for me. Why does this, oh, it has an on and off switch. Really interesting. What? Okay, so it looks like you take this out. Am I crazy? No, you absolutely have a stopper in there, this little tiny stopper. And then I feel like you turn it on and then press a button? Is that the deal? Is that what's happening? Yes, that is what's happening. Very interesting component. I feel like that probably cost a ton of money. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, do it with your thumb. It's like sticking together, but it's like kind of runny. I don't know. We'll see. I want to do half the face first. Whoa. You see how thick the consistency is? Alrighty. I just got it on my earring. It's thick. And too light? Is it too light? It looks a little light. You know, I hate shopping in stores. As much as I love it, I also hate it. They have so much that's sold out, and I feel like they never get restocked. The shelves are always so freaking bare. Oh, you guys, this is so full coverage. It said medium, didn't it? Long wear, medium to full buildable coverage. Okay, well, I guess I put too much on because I don't really see medium. It is such a thick consistency. Oof, I couldn't even see myself loving this as a concealer. I feel like you have to wear this all over. It's interesting that they launched this at the same time as the Radiant one, so maybe if people didn't like the more radiant natural finish, then they had this one to choose from. It's not smart launch, if you know what I'm saying. It doesn't look bad though. It definitely looks full coverage, but it doesn't look so heavy full coverage. I want to fall in love with this because the MAC eyeshadow palettes I've been loving, the bronzers I've been loving. I definitely am not putting the stopper back in, so that's not happening. But nice little off switch, cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna do the other side. I want to say with less coverage, and then go in with a sponge and see how that looks. Well, for comparison's sake, you do get more medium coverage when you use a sponge. That's normally what happens. So you know that you can get a more full coverage probably with a brush application. I want to kind of just tap this in. I did use less product on this side too, but they both look so beautiful. I actually don't think this is a bad shade. I think it matches me pretty good. It's always a little scary when I put a lighter shade on because I go a little bit darker than my next shade. So I want to go into this concealer. It's called the Radiant Concealer and Brightening Duo from Iconic London. It's in Neutral Light. So I think this is two-ended. Yeah, it is. It comes with like cream stick, and then you have like the liquid form on one end. Okay, well, I'm not gonna layer them because that's, oh, that's deep. Okay, this is very interesting. Like, I don't know if we needed these, but I've been loving Iconic London products recently. I'm gonna bounce it in with my sponge. It said neutral light, but it is dark. It's way darker than my foundation. Wow. I don't know if the shade is great. So this claims to be clear the look of 8 hours of sleep with this 2-in-1 concealer featuring a brightening crayon to illuminate and lift the look of the under eye area, and a medium full coverage liquid concealer to camouflage imperfections for a fresh faced flawless finish. I would never layer these up. That is the kiss of death for me. I will 100% get creasing if I do something like that. This is still not like a super light shade. This is definitely too dark and neutral light. I'm gonna use a brush with this one because I do not feel like it's gonna blend out with a sponge. And this is not super brightening either. I hate both of these. I don't think they're good coverage at all. I legit hate the way my under eyes looks. This, obviously, the cream stick is a much tackier formula, but it offered terrible coverage. Oh, I'm gonna do it, but I feel like it's gonna be a big mistake. Let me just add this on top of it and see how it looks. I already hate the way it looks. It already looks super heavy. I knew it. Don't put those two on top of each other. All of a sudden they got super dry when they weren't dry before. I prefer this side, but like what shade would you get if not neutral light? Like I always get a neutral light. This is extremely dark. And look how much you can really see my darkness. This is not medium coverage. This is light coverage. I don't like this already. I can tell you guys, I feel like that's a huge pass. I'm gonna set my face really quickly with the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder. I feel like my face looks extremely pale. I mean, it's a perfect shade match to my neck. I just feel like it's lighter than I normally would go for. I wanted to mention, I threw on the Gucci Stylo waterproof eyebrow pencil. I've been loving that lately. It's new to me, it's not a new release. And then I primed my eyes with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer and then set my face with the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder. Eyes too. So let's go into the bronzer next. This is from Juvia's Place. When I saw the pictures of these, I thought this was gonna be so much bigger. This retails for $18, so it's not like super duper inexpensive. I'm surprised that for Juvia's Place it kind of costs so much, but like I was expecting more to the product because you usually get quite a bit from Juvia's Place, but look at it. It's tiny. It's teeny tiny. It's little, it's so thin. The formula feels really good though, but it has shimmers in it. All of them do. I was looking at them in the stores and I was like, are those shimmer particles? And they do, it's a little bit shimmery. Don't know if that translates to the swatch or the cheeks, but like in the component, it is very shimmery. So actually this is not overly warm. Man, they scare you with this shade right here. It's a, it doesn't feel like it's a cream to powder formula. It has a bit of emollients and it is moving as I'm like rubbing it in. It's not fully matte. I'm just gonna take a contour brush and pounce it in. This is such a beautiful shade. Wow. You know, even though it is $18, I do want to say like, this is more digestible. I feel like it's an amount of product that you could easily get through, if that makes sense. Okay, this is really super easy and really pretty. I'm kind of stamping it in to not move it, but I don't think it lifts either. This is really pretty. I want to keep building. Build. Perfectly shaded. Like not too orange a bronzer at all. Uh-oh. I feel like it has a little bit of radiance on the forehead. I hate when my forehead looks a little bit greasy when it's kind of a product with a ton of sheen in it. That's not my absolute favorite, but I love that on the cheeks. This is light. It's super lightly pigmented. Kind of not what I was expecting from Juvia's Place. Most of their stuff is just, I don't know, pretty punchy, pretty pigmented. This is definitely on the lighter side. Those sparkles don't seem to translate, but the formula is not matte at all. Let's see what the box says. Oh, okay. Bronzed cream bronzers are crafted with shimmering pearls and glide smoothly onto the skin, creating a seamless and radiant finish that mimics the warm embrace of the sun. The pearls delicately reflect light in unveiling and mesmerizing luminosity. Okay, so I wasn't wrong. This is actually made in Italy and does have an 18-month shelf life, so that's longer than most of my cream bronzers. And for drugstore and its price point, like I could see it being made in Italy makes sense. It's nice, it's kind of not what I was expecting. Plus, I didn't think I was gonna pick that up, so it was kind of a whim that I picked it up in store, and therefore I didn't know a whole ton about it. Let's move into these cream blushes from Cosmetics. You guys, I don't know why I've been sitting on these. She only launched 2 shades. This one is in Peanut, which is more orange, I guess. And then very different packaging, and then Tickled. Both of the shades are great for me. I just don't know if she's planning on expanding the shade range. Look at this little tiny puff. Oh, how cute is that? Here's the packaging on these. It's kind of a small amount of product. Like, it kind of sits in the middle of the pan. Doesn't take up the whole thing. Does come with a mirror in there. I'm dying to swatch these. So these are supposed to be like a hybrid formula, like cream, somewhat powder. They almost feel like a putty, and I guess that's maybe what the hybrid is. Oh yeah, this would definitely work on a deeper skin tone. Don't think I'm gonna use those puffs. These shades don't necessarily look, this is Peanut. Peanut looks more mauvey than it does orange. Let's swatch it and see what it looks like. This is clearly a putty formula. I guess it's a little bit peachy. There you go. Maybe a little bit hard to pick up on a swatch. I don't know if you guys can see, like, it's a full on putty formula. So let's see how it picks up on a stippling brush. It says a highly sensorial blush with a unique cushion texture, leaving a flush of matte color as pillowy and soft as baby's cheeks. All right, we are going in with Tickled on the right side with the purple eye look. Again, stippling brush. It's more of a buildable formula. It's not punchy like right away. So I think a lot of people would probably really like that. It looks airbrushed. It looks like it was like sprayed onto my cheeks, because you can still kind of see the foundation underneath. Like, just the foundation is poking through. I don't know. It's actually a really, really pretty formula. You do, I feel like, need probably a stippling brush or even a sponge with this formula if you really want to get good pigment, because I'm digging pretty hard into the component to get this much pigment. These are very pretty though. It's like melting into my skin. It looks really, really airbrushed overall. Honestly, I feel like she does such a good job with her blushes. Powder formula, the stick was fantastic. They're honestly some of my absolute favorites, so this totally doesn't surprise me. I'm so glad I picked up both shades. I would say, like, I think she's looking for a little bit of success before she probably expands the range. That would be my guess. All right, let's finish up the eye look on the right side. I'm gonna go into this shade in the outer part of the lower lash line, and then I'm gonna bring this in the inner corner, and then we will highlight, not the inner corner, but the inner part of the lower lash line, and then we'll highlight with one of the shimmers for the inner corner. And then I'm going into something that's brand new to me. This is the Stay and Play Gel Eyeliner from Essence. It's waterproof and long lasting, and this one is in the shade, I wanna say, oh, okay, Very Berry. I almost called it Plum. This is like a fairly new release. It's not really new anymore, but I bought it and then never tried it, so I'm gonna throw that on. Then I'm gonna throw my Huda Beauty One Coat Wow mascara on the lower lash line. I have been loving this particular mascara for the lower lashes. I will throw on some lashes, and that will complete the right eye. Okay, that side is completed. These lashes are way longer than I remember them being, so hated the eyeliner. The Essence eyeliner was not depositing into my waterline. It was getting all over my skin. Fortunately, it was like a decent shade, and so it was like looking okay, but I feel like I was doing damage control on it. I don't know why. Like, I totally warmed this up, but it was not liking going into my waterline, and sometimes I find that. With the other eye look, I'm gonna do the same kind of colors. I'm gonna take this more teal shade and then the yellow on the lower lash line, and then I'm gonna throw one of my Supernova multi-chrome gel liners. This one is in the shade Rhea into the waterline, and then throw on some lashes on this eye. We'll wrap it up as well. Okay, that's all done. So I have to say, like, this comes out, like, even though it looks kind of like a champagne color, it has like this pink shift to it in the inner corner. It is so beautiful, and the distinction between the quality of these two was so significant. Moira's smooth, easy, pigmented, went into the waterline beautifully. This patchy, is it even there anymore? I don't even know. It's not. I'll have to keep trying it, but I was not thoroughly impressed with that. All right, let's get into these and let's lip swatch them. The Kaleidos Untamed Glowy Glossy Lip Glaze. So they came out with 7 shades. I bought the whole set. I'm sure these are still available on Kaleidos' website, but the reason that I didn't pick up the whole collection is because the eyeshadow palettes look just like the palettes they released last time. And they weren't my favorite color story, so I didn't want to pick them up again, but these looked just amazing. So this one is in Last Smoke. Usually like the color here looks like what the actual shade is. The packaging on these is to die for. Let it focus there. So, so beautiful. More of a sheer formula. They're smooth and they're non-sticky. Just more of a sheer formula. This one is very, very beautiful. Here is Last Smoke. This is almost like a neutral shade that basically anybody could get along with. I kind of feel like I want to keep this one on at the end because it looks good with like both eye looks. It's very, very comfortable, I have to say. I didn't need more lip products in my life, but all right, well, that one was Last Smoke. All right, let's go into Pink Marquise next. Here's the shade on that one. That one is so pretty. This is like a My Lips but better. It literally almost looks like kind of a clear gloss, like barely tinted. Super pretty, super flattering shade. I could see this working on like a multitude of skin tones. This is such a runny formula. It's not like overly sticky that my first swatch is almost like dripping. Can you guys see? This pink one has a little bit of sparkles in it, Pink Marquise. Like when you get up close, you can see it on the swatch. I don't notice it on the lips, but I do notice it here. I feel a slight tingle with this one. I'm not sure why. Pretty high shine, very comfortable, non-sticky formula. So Pink Marquise. These are very, very easy to take off. Let's go into Penthouse next. Ooh, look at this one. Look at that. That's super unique and pretty. I love shimmery lip glosses. Oh, I think you could have fun with this like on holiday. Like this is a nice holiday lip, isn't it? Again, still kind of like a buildable formula. It's not overly pigmented, but I love sparkles in my lip products. I feel like it just makes your lips just look so juicy and pop, and they look so much bigger than they actually are. I don't know. This one is super pretty in Penthouse. It's like hard not to stare at your lips when your lips are like sparkling. I cannot tell you guys how not sticky a formula this is. Well, this one is called Penthouse. All right, next is Hot Pursuit. This looks like a very similar color to the first one that we put on, which was in Last Smoke. At least the box looks like it. Uh-oh. Like, look at this. This one was Last Smoke, and then this one is Hot Pursuit. Those look really similar. Are those not the same shade? Okay, this one looks too similar to Last Smoke. Are we duplicating shades? Here is Hot Pursuit and that's Last Smoke. It's too similar. Why even have it in there? Anyway, that one is Hot Pursuit. All right, let's go into this one called Elixir. Okay, this one is definitely not as pink as Pink Marquise. There is it swatched out. So definitely has more orange in it than the one from Pink Marquise. So I definitely see a difference between those two. I'm telling you though, these two look identical on the lips. This one definitely looks like I'm wearing a clear gloss on top of my lips. It's pretty close to my lip color. So this one is in Elixir. All right, the next one we're going into is called Skinny Dip. Okay, this one looks like slightly sparkly, definitely like a taupey shade. This one looks kind of similar to the last one. This is definitely a nuder shade than the one above it. This is more warm tone. I just don't know on my lips that it translates very differently from the one above it. I just don't know if I personally am like looking back and going, oh, this is so different than the other one. So I don't know, maybe you guys, if you're interested in picking these up, I would kind of say like, just like jump shades, like definitely know they're gonna be different. So this one is in Skinny Dip. All right, here's the last one. Oh, this one is so pretty. It's like purpley deep sparkles. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh yeah, we're ending with this one. This one doesn't have a whole ton of base pigment. It's mostly glitter. Like it looks like it has a purple base, but like once it gets to your lips, it's pretty darn sheer. Yeah, even on the swatch, it's pretty darn sheer. This one's really pretty though. Again, I love me like a holographic lip. Just give me a lip gloss with a ton of sparkles in it. See how pretty that is? It makes your lips look so much shinier than they really are. So really, really pretty shade range. These like pill up on my hands. Like they do not like sink in. They're not sticky formula. Let's do a final wrap up on everything. Concealer is actually not doing a crazy crease situation. It actually looks pretty decent. And I want to say that when I did go in with putting the liquid on top of that cream, I did feel like it offered a bunch more coverage, and it ended up not like caking. It ended up not looking super dry. So I am pleased with it. The one side with just the liquid, I kind of feel like wasn't enough coverage. I feel like it was absolutely light coverage when I started. So I don't think that that product is necessary. I have medium coverage concealers that give me the amount of coverage that I'm looking for on one swipe, and so I don't feel like you need this. I like a lot of Iconic London stuff, and so usually I go, oh, I want to grab it. You know, it'll surprise me, and I don't think this surprised me. So far, this Studio Fix pen, I'm like loving both sides. And I don't think that what I put on over here was too much. Like, I feel like I would wear this normally, just every day. As far as the eyeshadow palettes go, I like having these in my collection. I would have picked them up regardless. But if you guys like softer shimmer, go for Coastal Lights. Go for Coastal Lights. If you are really loving or have loved the other formula, then Garden Lights is really like, you're gonna get some colors in here that you might not have gotten in some of the other palettes, especially this one. This one's really, really pretty. And the Juvia's Place bronzer is really pretty, has luminosity. I don't love that for the forehead because I don't like my forehead to shine. I like my forehead to be a little bit more matte. That's me personally, but the formula was buildable and not overly pigmented, not what I was expecting from Juvia's Place. The bronzer is really hard to like dial back, and so I could see myself really loving this. So far, I really enjoyed the formula. These blushes are freaking delightful. They're just airbrushing. They're just really buildable formulas. They're just easy, non-complicated. I will be linking everything that I put on today in the description box in case you are interested. I am out of here, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye guys.